Good evening wig lovers, this is Kez and today I'm bringing you another video on how to cut fringe or bangs into your wig. You get a wig, something as beautiful as this, and you can't wait to try it on because you just know that it's going to look really cute. So, put on the wig and then this happens. Now some people like to keep them as side parts or side fringe bangs, and that's fine. If you wanted to, you could pin it to the side, but like if you look at the part on this wig, it's designed to have a full fringe, and I'd quite like to see it with a full fringe, but if you take a look, the fringe comes right down to my nose. Now they deliberately do this on wigs so that you can cut it to your head size, but I have the, don't know whether it's fortunate or unfortunate, joy of having a small head, and so whenever I wear bangs it comes all the way down my face. So what I'm going to teach you is how to cut your own bangs into a wig. It can be scary because you don't want to chop at it and make a complete mess, but by the same token, if you take it to a hairdresser's, it could take time, it could take money. Just going to show you how to do it quickly so that you can get the wig looking the way that you want. The first thing you need to do is to work out where you want it to go to, so that depends how long you really want them to be. In my case, I don't like it to be too long so that I can't see out of my eyes, so I measure it roughly with where my brows go. And the easiest thing to do is to take a part of it. I'm going to take quite a chunk, but you can take a smaller chunk if you're a little bit nervous doing it. And I work out roughly where I want it to be, and I just take the scissors, but instead of snipping straight across, I go a little bit lower than what I would like it to be, and as I'm cutting I just move the scissors up and down slightly, because this will not give you a perfectly straight edge. If you wanted a perfectly straight edge and you wanted it to look harsh and flat, then you just cut straight across and then you will get a razor straight bang. You can tell now that this is a good place to start. It will need some chopping still to get it right. You've also got to work out how far across your forehead you want to go with the bangs. Now I usually leave a little longer bit to the side so that it blends in with the rest of the hair, and so I'm going to start by cutting this bit and this bit, and then we'll go from there. You can do this on a mannequin head, but I find if you're brave enough it's easier to do it on your face because you can see. I always close the eye closest to where I'm going because I don't want to end up getting hair in my eyes. I've done it before and it's really irritating. Try and do it very slowly so that you maintain a straight line. You can tell that bits of it are longer than the others. That's fine because we're going to tidy it up afterwards. This is just to give you a guide of where you want it to be to start with. This wig is fairly easy to do because there is a set 3 pieces of hair that make up the fringe part. If you hear me switching between the word fringe and bangs, the Americans tend to call it bangs. We in the UK fringe, but it's the same thing, essentially. Now you can tell I've got the basis for a fringe, but it's still a little bit long and messy. I'm going to take a little bit more of this here to blend it in. Now you can see we're starting to form the fringe a little bit, but it's still slightly long. So this is where you cut it to how you want it lengthwise. I'm going to keep mine choppy because I don't like them to be straight across. Now the easiest way to do it is to take 2 fingers and hold them between. Hold it away from your face, take the scissors but hold them straight. And then just trim very small little bits at a time. This is taking off the ends, so it is making it shorter, and it's also thinning it out as you go. And then you can also judge if it's still a little bit long. You can see the longer parts, you can just snip at them to get them even. By snipping it in this way, you're not taking too much hair in one go and you're giving it a feathery effect. You can, if you want a straight razor line, I would suggest pulling it away from your face to do this. Don't do what I'm doing. I've just been doing it a while, so I know what I'm doing. But if you were doing it, you would hold it away from your face and then snip it like that. I don't suggest putting the scissors too near to your eyes. Not while you're practicing anyway, unless you've got it on a mannequin head. Just going to do the same at the other end. I'll do it properly to show you how it should be done rather than doing it my quick way. So any excess that's there, and then just snip, 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 very small snips up and down, holding it away from the face. At this point you can tell if it's still going to annoy you or not. This bit here is still coming into my face, so that's annoying. But rather than straight out cut it, which I could do, I'm going to try and thin it out a little bit. These are amazing to get hold of. They're from Amazon. They're called razor combs. You usually get about a pack of 5 for £10. It's got a thicker end on and a thinner end, and they come apart to have razors that you can clean. But when you're holding them against the hair, you can't cut your hands. But what you do have to be careful of is that you don't take off too much hair, because if you start razoring with the sharp part, it will leave little chunks. So take the thinnest end, just hold it away, and don't hold it right up near the top, because bear in mind you might lose some of the hair. And just closing that eye so that it doesn't go in. Just sort of feather it out a little bit. You can see it's actually shortening the hair, which is why we don't do it from the top straight away, so otherwise you'll have a massive spare chunk up there. Because I don't want to lose it completely, but I just don't want it as long and thick as it was. And then that still blends in there. It's still a little bit long. I think I'm going to end up incorporating this part into the fringe. You can do this with scissors as well. If you were going to do it with scissors, what you would do is hold the scissors like that and just shut them as if you're going to cut, but just to the point where you would cut, and just move the scissors up and down so that it's taking very small amounts of hair away at a time, but not the whole chunk. That's the harder way to do it. You can also use this method and just snip up like this and keep doing that until it's thinned out to the point where you want to. Now you can see here this chunk is a bit thicker, and I don't like my fringes too thick, so again I'm just going to razor that out a little bit in the thicker parts. Some people like chunky fringes, but I don't think they suit me. This is a great way to thin out a really thick fringe as well, if you've got one that's too thick. These little things are amazing, and the good thing is you can't cut yourself while you're doing it. How do you know if the fringe is the right length for you? If you're having to push the cap back like that and it's not sitting flat on your head, then it's not the right length. So you just sit it where your own part is. That's where your wig should sit. If your fringe is too long where it is, away from the face, and just snip, or do it on a wig head. The only disadvantage to doing it on a wig head is that you can't tell if you're getting the length right. So if you do it on a wig head, make sure that you snipped that part in the middle to the right length and then use that as your guide. If you do move the scissors up and down instead of straight up, just make sure you are moving them slightly so that you're not getting a sharp edge, unless you want that sharp razored edge. Now again, I've got this bit here which is quite thick. I know that I want to make this thinner now, and so what I'm going to do is just take the scissors straight away. This is how you would do it if you wanted a blunt edge, and I'm just doing this to show you. You can see the difference between that and how I've cut this. But now, to get rid of the blunt edge, which you can do after if you prefer, if you don't like it that way, is do what I said with the scissors, snip up like this. It's still a little bit long. I think I'm going to go in with a razor comb with this, but you could again do it with your scissors. I say just don't get too happy with these, or you'll have no hair left on the wig. It is easy to get carried away, but they are very good once you learn. Practice on a bit of spare hair underneath, or get a wig that you don't like to practice on first. And there we have it. I now have a perfectly cut fringe into the wig. Now I could have it a little bit shorter. I left it a little bit longer on purpose because I didn't know whether I would like it too short. I usually have it just that little bit there, but the good thing about this is you can always take more hair off. That's the beauty of doing it in this method. I'm trying to keep my eyes open to show you because I'm videoing it, but as I say, you can close your eyes so you don't get hair in it. You can see the edge is razored, and that's how I like it because it looks more natural. Hair doesn't grow completely straight, and so if you have your fringe completely straight, it is a dead giveaway that you're wearing a wig, unless you've got a emo type style which is meant to be razor straight. But if you want it to look natural, like just your own hair, that's the best way to do it, because this is how the hairdressers would do it. Just a note, I'm not a trained hairdresser. This is all tips that I've picked up myself and self-taught. So if there's any hairdressers watching, please don't kill me or cringe at what I'm doing. This is just for wigs. I'm not suggesting you go and practice this on your own hair. Okay, there we go. I can see perfectly now. And now this beautiful wig is ready to go. And I don't have to be disappointed when I put her on that I'm not going to be able to go straight out in it. I hope some of you have found this video useful. If you do, please subscribe, the little bell icon at the bottom, and also please leave me a like so that I know that you enjoy these videos. If there is anything to do with wigs that you would like to see me put here, please leave a comment below and I will try and incorporate it into future videos. Thanks.